good, YouTube? Y'all already know what it is. I know. I'm a little hyped. Let's take it down a notch. What's good? It's like, no. What's good, YouTube? You already know what it is. I am back once again with a reaction video. And in this video... Did I say I'm back once again with a reaction video? This is my first reaction video on this channel. And yeah, I haven't did one before. But anyway, I'm going to be doing 10 tips that might save your life one day by the richest. I am watching it on my iPad, and the video is going to be right here on this. Don't mind my TV back there. The video is going to be right. The clip is going to be right here on the side. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay.
The world can sometimes be a scary place. From snarling dogs to screeching cars to blazing infernos. It can get really serious at times. In fact, there's every chance at some point you may be confronted with a situation where your life is at stake. Have no fear. We're here to help you through it with these 10 survival tips, which may just help you get out alive. Now, we can't just go giving these tips to just anyone, so show us you're on board by activating those subscribe and notification buttons. Spiderbite. Nature experts always seem to be telling us that spiders are good to have around. After all, they eat those pesky flies and do their part to keep mosquitoes under control. Yet in the world of the arachnid, there are a handful of spiders that are actually pretty dangerous to humans. Sure, they don't go out of their way to attack us like Hollywood would have you believe, but they can be a real threat. From the brown recluse to the black widow, these little guys deliver some potent bites. So, what should you do if you're ever bitten? For the most part, there's a pretty good chance you may not even know you've been bitten until you start experiencing pain and redness at the site of the bite. Serious symptoms usually start to show up around 15 minutes after a bite, so use this time to seek out medical attention. If you can, experts say to wash the bite and apply ice. In fact, staying calm and applying ice can ease pain and slow the effects of the venom. Ultimately, be sure to head to a hospital as soon as you possibly can. Most spider bites aren't fatal for healthy adults, but treatments using drugs and anti-venom can ensure there'll be no lasting problems. A car crash. Statistically speaking, out of all of the life-threatening events mentioned in this video, a car crash is one of the more likely to occur. Of course, by paying attention, obeying the laws, driving sensibly, and even taking a driving course, you can lessen any chance of a crash. Even with all of this, you can't influence the weather or what other drivers on the road are doing. Should you get in a crash, experts agree that you should have your seatbelt on and do your best not to tense up right before the impact. While that goes against natural instincts, tensing up and bracing for an impact can actually cause more injury to you and increase your odds of breaking bones. Second, have escape-related equipment handy. This means having quick access to a blade to cut your seatbelt or a window breaker to smash glass. It's one thing to survive a crash, but you could end up being trapped inside thanks to a jammed seatbelt or windows that won't come down. Finally, don't just leap out of your car the moment the accident has subsided. Take a moment to assess the situation because other vehicles could potentially collide with you soon after. Such an assessment can also be used to see flames or smell fumes to warn you of potential dangers. Falling from a plane. People go skydiving every day. Hurtling towards the ground, they generally don't worry too much because they have a parachute. But what if you're falling from a high altitude without a parachute? It has happened, and there are cases of people surviving falls of tens of thousands of feet. We'll be honest, your odds of surviving aren't very good at all, but there are things you can do to add some hope. First, strike the right pose. This means to face the earth, arch your back, and make sure your arms and hands are stretched out and knees and elbows bent. This will give you stability and, more importantly, increase your drag, which will slow you down. With this done, you can actually steer yourself in the air. Look for the best possible terrain to land on. This includes snow, freshly tilled fields, and especially sloping hills. Forests and thick brush can be good, but also increases your chance of getting impaled. Avoid water and rocks and concrete because these are the hardest surfaces to hit. Then, all that's left to do is relax and try to get your body vertical right before impact. Your odds aren't great, but people have survived falls of over 20,000 feet. Elevator fall. To give you an idea of how rare being in a free-falling elevator is, bookmakers say you have a far greater chance of spotting Elvis alive. With that out of the way, we're here to give you a few tips to improve your chances of survival should the near impossible happen. There has only been one recorded incident of a person enduring a long-distance elevator fall. In 1945, a woman survived a 75-floor plummet in the Empire State Building. So it can be done. How did she do it? Some people say that you should try and jump the moment the car hits the bottom. In addition to needing the precise reflexes of a cat, this would only reduce your body's speed a few miles per hour and increase your chances of hitting the ceiling. Another tip some think you should try involves bending your knees to try and absorb the impact. That won't work either, as your legs and spine will snap like a twig. Your best survival technique, should this scenario ever occur, involves lying down flat on your back. It's not a guarantee for survival, and you'll likely suffer quite a few broken bones, but it does seem to be the best option. Fire. We all learn about fire safety in school. Yet despite this, fires still break out and claim the lives of people all the time. The first rule to surviving a fire in your home is to have working smoke detectors and an escape plan. With those factors in place, the next step is to act. So you are awoken one night by the scream of an alarm and a choking, thick wall of smoke. What do you do now? The answer is pretty straightforward. Get out as quickly and safely as possible. To avoid breathing in smoke and toxic fumes, stay as low as possible, and if possible, have a wet cloth to place over your mouth and nose. Feel doors before opening them. This will lessen the chance that you're about to head into a room that's actually a blazing inferno. If you need to escape from a window, try to close the door of the room before opening the window. This should help lessen the sudden draft of air that could cause the fire to surge. Finally, when you do get out, don't go back in. You already beat the odds once, and we all know this game is rigged in the favor of the house. Alright, time for our survival quiz. When it comes to sheer numbers of human victims, do you know which creature or animal is the most dangerous? Think about that while we show you a few more tips for survival. A dog attack. Humans have learned that when you live with dogs, there is also always the chance of a dog attack. Let's say you're walking home one day when a rather angry-looking dog steps out in front of you. What should you do? Well, every dog attack is different. There are things you can do to increase your chances of walking away. First, as with any animal, never turn your back and run. This will activate the dog's prey instinct. Second, try and avoid eye contact and don't smile. It's the equivalent of giving the dog the middle finger. Finally, back away slowly and make no sudden moves. Of course, should the dog charge, then it's go time. Arm yourself with anything that could be used to hit the dog. If you have a coat, wrap that around your arm as protection for when the dog tries to bite. Experts say that if your arm gets chomped down on, don't pull back. Instead, shove that arm as far down the dog's throat as possible to force them to release. Another useful tactic is to go for the eyes and push those thumbs in until the pooch decides it's too painful to continue the fight. Nuclear explosion. In the world of weapons, the nuclear bomb is the most destructive. They come in all shapes and sizes and use a combination of heat, blast force, and radiation to do their damage. But could you survive a blast? Sure, but it depends on several factors. First, if you are relatively close to a nuclear detonation, then odds are you're a goner. Sorry. Should you be several miles away, however, you have time to act. Depending on your exact distance from the blast, once you see the flash, you might have several seconds before the shockwave hits. Use this time to get to a basement or some location that offers protection from high winds and debris. If you make it through that, don't sit around, because now you'll have to worry about fallout. And we're not talking about a bunch of video game fanboys here either. If you know the predominant wind direction, then you have a good idea of where radioactive fallout is likely to land. Try and stay clear of this area and keep as much distance between you and the site of the explosion. Of course, all of this is dependent upon the proximity to the blast and the size of the weapon. Desert Island. So you got a sweet job working for a major delivery company with branches all over the planet. As part of your job, you do a lot of flying. One day, while flying over the Pacific Ocean, your plane goes down and you are the sole survivor. After washing up on a small remote island, what should you do now? Survival is totally possible as long as you follow some basic rules. First, don't panic. We know it's easier said than done, but panicking won't do anything but cause you to make poor choices. So, suck it up, princess. Second, don't take risks and get yourself injured. After all, you're on your own, and if you get hurt, your chance of survival drop dramatically. Next, salvage anything you can, no matter how useless it may seem at first. After all, that Kanye West CD can be used as a mirror to signal help, or can even be broken into sharp shards and used as a cutting tool. With that done, your next priority is to find a source of water, or use some of that salvaged junk to create a solar still to make seawater drinkable. Once you have a source of water, build shelter and think about finding a food source. You and that salvaged volleyball may be here for a while. Terminators. Don't laugh. You know as well as we do that government agencies like DARPA are making massive advances in autonomous robot development. These are robots that can head off on their own and follow a program to complete a task. Combine that with advances in computer systems, which can learn and improvise, we have a recipe for a Terminator uprising. So, how can you survive the rise of the machines? First, get off the grid so you're not reliant on a system which will likely fail upon the uprising. Second, pull an Edward Snowden and stay off the internet. That way our future robot overlords can't track you and troll your latest Facebook post. However, should they track you down, be prepared. This means having some big guns that can fire armor-piercing bullets. If you need help with that, we actually have a video on these guns that you can legally own now in the US. Once armed, try not to draw too much attention to yourself and band together with like-minded humans. If at all possible, we suggest tracking down Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, or Christian Bale. After all, they have some experience in dealing with murderous robots. Shark attack. Hollywood has given them a bad rap, and it doesn't help that every now and then a news report comes out telling of an attack on an unsuspecting swimmer or surfer. Of course, we're talking about sharks. For the most part, sharks are harmless, yet like any wild animal, every now and then a human just happens to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. So, what should you do if that person is you staring down the snout of a great white? Well, survival tips are surprisingly similar to other animals. Be sure never to play dead or try and swim away. For the shark, one is an easy meal while the other is a fun game. Instead, always face your attacking shark and be prepared to punch, stab, and even claw it. Experts say to aim for sensitive areas like the gills, snout, and eyes. If at all possible, try and be armed in any such encounter. Even the seemingly most useless object can be more effective than going in with just your fists and feet. Of course, if all else fails, unleash your inner Bruce Lee and go mental on the shark. After all, if you can convince it that you're too much trouble, the shark may seek an easier meal elsewhere. So, do you know which creature or animal takes the lives of the most humans every year? The answer, the mosquito. This little pest is said to be responsible for claiming around 725,000 lives a year thanks to the spread of diseases. So be sure to use repellent and get your shots. That concludes the richest survival training camp for today. We hope this broad range of survival skills proves helpful. Although, if we're being honest, we hope you never have to use any of them. If you found that interesting, be sure to check out our other survival-related videos. From nuclear war to people who are living proof of beating incredible odds, the richest is interesting. Be sure to check out our other survival-related videos. From nuclear war to people who are living proof of beating incredible odds.
Okay, y'all, that is it for my reaction video. I hope you guys liked it. This is my first one I did. I may do a couple of reaction videos today, or a couple videos in general. I might do a Q&A for my 150 subscribers. And also, what was I about to say? If you guys like this reaction videos, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. I might like do double uploads today, or just might save them, or who knows. Okay, I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out.